Now in this video we're going to assemble all of the Z motor, the lead screw, the Z rods, the bearings for the bed, the entire bed setup. What I've done for the moment is I've popped the Z motor into place and I've just threaded the wires through on the base. Now the lead screw for this is just a piece of M10 all thread. It's 425mm long. I've opted for the flexible coupling, which has got the M10 hole in it, or 10mm hole in it, and then the 6.35 hole for the motor. I've opted to use a drilling nut, which is a piece of drilling that I've purchased. I've drilled it through, threaded it with M10, and then I've done the two fastening screws, which I've used M4, and then along with another screw, which is going to actually act as the adjustable Z height stop. So that will actually go against this point here, where the limit switch is in position, and as this then screws and comes up, that will hit against the Z limit switch. Okay, so some of the brief description of some of the parts that we're going to require on this. Obviously we need the two acrylic parts for the sides of the bed, the rear acrylic part, which is what the Z axis motor attaches to the lead screw. Then we need the two Z bracket bearings holders, the front nose section for the bed, and then we need the two bed leveler bracket supports. And the screws we're going to need for the bearing supports, one of those is going to be an M4, approximately 28mm long, and we're going to need a nut for that as well. Then we need 5 M4 16mm for each of the bearing bed brackets. For the front of the nose section, we need 4 M4 16mm screws. For the actual bed springs, or the bed leveling springs, we need those to be M5 50mm long. We're going to need some M3, approximately 16mm long as well, which will also attach the bed leveling brackets to two of the acrylic parts either side. Okay, so to begin with, what we're going to do is the Z rods simply slide in from above through the Z rod holders, and all this is at this moment is I will need to lift them back up slightly when I come to put the bed in, but it's also gives me the chance to just make sure that they are sliding up and down nicely, and whether or not I've just got to re-drill any of the holes so I can get a nice smooth feel of the rod coming through. You can see that little basic clip that holds it in at the bottom and at the top. Yeah, that rod is very solid. It's not moving at all. Okay, now we have got a little bit of preparation work that we need to be doing to the bearing holders brackets for the Z, and also the front piece, and also for the two bed brackets as well. So what we need to do now is, I've drilled a hole earlier, but I'll just show you what I've done there. Basically, this face here, which is the smaller piece, that is the one that's going to be going for the back, where the lead screw is going to attach, and the longer one is for the front. So what I've done is I've positioned that in, placed it flat, and then I've drilled the hole all the way through using a 5mm drill bit. And what that's for is to ensure that I can get the M4 screw all the way through when I come to put that piece on as well. For the bed support to go onto it, and these are sided as well, so just make sure you pick up the right side, and you can make sure that that is level with the top of that piece, and that bolt then should be able to pass all the way through. I do want it to be a tight fit, so that will pass through, and then I'm going to need to just screw that through a little bit. So that's that piece put through, and we're just going to put the nut now onto the back of that, and it's at this point again we just double check that that's sitting square. Now we need to drill the holes through, ready to be able to screw the M4 bolts through. Those M4 bolts are the 16mm bolts. So I want to make sure that I've got a drill bit which is less than M3, about 2.5mm. This one I've got here is actually a 2mm one, and drill that all the way through. And do this, I was obviously used as the guide for the positioning. I've got my two nice clean holes now, which I now need to make slightly bigger in order for my bolt to pass through the acrylic. So I'm just going to do the face of this one as well. And then straight through those ones as well. I've used a 4mm drill bit there, just so I get that through nice and tight. Okay, so now that preparation work's done, these have to be threaded. I have to know that the M4 can screw in and either create the thread, and if not, as in the case of that, I will use my M4 thread starter. Pop that in. And create the thread. And then just check for fit. And then I do the same on the opposite side. After I've completed both sides, I then get my front nose section to the bed and do exactly the same again. I want to make sure that my M4 bolt can pass through, but then thread onto the opposite side. The way mine's printed, I'm going to use the bottom as the clean face pointing up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up those holes, just to change the drill bits over, clean up those holes and put the thread through. I want the bolt to be easy access, so I'm going to make sure that the bolt can pass through that hole, but it's the inner hole which has got the thread on it. That's the hole cleaned up for the bolt to pass through. And that's the start of the thread cut through for the bolt to thread into. Okay, now I'm going to do some preparatory work to the rear pieces, which is what the lead screw mount is going to go on to. So I'm just going to drill those through. Same again, so the bolt can pass all the way through, and then the thread on the inner one. If you don't want to spend the time going through threading these, you can simply just drill them all the way through and put a nut and a bolt on it. I try whenever possible. I'll try whenever possible to use the plastic and thread into the plastic to save on bolts and make it easier to work on the machine. Sometimes nuts can be a little bit fiddly.